you are performing this repair at your own risk. We cannot be held responsible for any injuries or damage done to your device while attempting a repair. In this video, we'll be demonstrating how to replace the Vibrate assembly in the iPhone 3GS. The process is identical for the iPhone 3G, and the parts are also the same. Here's a look at the replacement part. On the underside, it has two copper contacts, which touch two contacts on the logic board. Our first step is going to be to remove the screen. And we'll do this by removing two small Phillips screws on opposite sides of the sync port. And you want to put these in a safe place so that you don't lose them. Once those two screws have been removed, we'll take our suction cup and apply it near the bottom home button. And we're going to cup our hands around the phone and lift in the upward direction, pulling it out at an angle. Now our hands are there to keep the screen from flying off and ripping the cables from the board. Now before we can remove the front assembly, we have three cables to undo. Now the first two cables we'll remove simply unplug from the board. And we'll unplug these using our case opener tool. So you do this by wedging your case opener tool just beneath the cables and prying gently in the upward direction, and they should come out. Now this last cable is a little different. It's actually held into a port with tension. And to release the tension, we're going to lift this black tab in the vertical direction. And that will allow us to simply slide the cable out of the port. Now we can go ahead and set our entire front assembly aside. Here's a look at the Vibrate assembly. It's held in place with two small Phillips screws, which we'll need to remove. We're now free to remove the Vibrate assembly using our small flathead screwdriver as demonstrated here in the video. Here you can see the two copper contacts which touch contacts on the underside of the logic board. Now we'll take our replacement vibrator assembly and we'll tuck the copper contacts beneath the board before laying it flat against the screw holes. Now we can go ahead and reinsert the two small Phillips screws, holding the vibrator module in place. And the final step is to reinstall the front assembly. Again, there are three cables, and this time they'll go in the opposite as they came out. So first cable 3, followed by cable 2, and then 1. Now cable 3 will slip inside of the port. Make sure that the tab is pointed in the upward direction while you're doing this. And once you get that cable inserted, flip the tab downwards, and the tension will hold it in place. These next two cables just plug into the board. However, the final LCD cable, which will remain here, is going to require that we tilt the screen assembly down at an angle before plugging this in, because otherwise it will come undone. Now this last cable can be tough since we're unable to see it, but once we get it in the right place it should plug right in. When closing the screen, first make sure the top is flush before pressing down on the bottom. And for our final step, we'll install the two Phillips screws located on opposite sides of the sink port.